Hi guys, today we're going to take a look at pages 12 and 13 of the Unit 11 packet. Once again, that's pages 12 and 13 of the Unit 11 packet. Now, for circles, alright, we're going to start off by finding volume. Volume means how much there is inside the circle, like how much, you could say like, what's the volume of my tires, how much, what's the air pressure, and they give you some reading in like, cubic feet or something like that. So volume for a sphere is defined as 4/3 pi r cubed. If we were taking the EOC, that would actually be on your reference sheet, all right, but not for every single test you're going to take, so it is worth committing to memory. Let's take a look at an example number 1 so you can see how it's going to work, okay? So in example number 1, you're given a sphere. Looks like my marker's on the verge of dying. Oh gosh, poor thing. And they tell you that its radius is 7. All right, so all I have to do is use 4/3 pi r cubed. Instead of r, I'm going to use 7. So it's pretty much a big game of plug and chug, right? So I'm going to do 7 times 7 times 7. Then I'm going to times by pi, and I'm going to times by 4, and then divide by 3. And I'm going to get that my volume is around 1,436.8. I got to round up, and in terms of my units, it would be cubic inches. Now, surface area is actually a little bit more interesting, all right? Surface area is a little more interesting. There's a great problem, if you want to try this at home, if you happen to have an orange, all right, peel the orange, and what I want you to do is save the peels. What you'll find is that if you were to draw the great circle of that particular orange, so like how long the biggest circular cross section is, and you were to draw 4 of those on your paper, your orange peels would actually fill those 4 circles. All right. Now again, we don't really have time for much of that. I mean, if you want to try it, I guess you can. All right. But basically, the surface area of a circle is just 4 circles. In other words, 4 pi r squared. Let me write that out for you guys, okay? The surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared, so 4 circles. To see what that would look like, let's take a look at number 3. All right, now number 3 has a radius of 2.8, so all I gotta do is plug into that formula. Plug in 2.8, and I just do the math. So 2.8 times 2.8 equals 7.84 times pi times 4, and I get 98.5. And in terms of units, this time, because it's area instead of volume, we would just say it's meters squared. Or I could say square meters if you prefer. All right? Now, the only other thing I want to say about the spheres, all right, you don't necessarily have to memorize separate formulas, okay, for the volume of hemispheres and the surface area of hemispheres, but I do want you to just take a very brief look for me at page number 13. Look at number 7. When we talk about the surface area of a sphere, right, we say there are 4 circles. So if I have a half sphere, how many circles do I have? 2, right? But in this case, now you have a base. So the base itself is another pi r squared. So if I have 2 pi r squared from the shell and another pi r squared from the bottom, what's 2 pi r squared plus 1 pi r squared? 3 pi r squared. So for example, 7 and 8, you would just use 3 pi r squared instead of 4 pi r squared as your formula.